Alright, well we're back downstairs and we're looking at the overhead door 70Z-1 back in its usual spot, meaning it's no longer installed on the mini door. But if we take a look at the mini door, we still have the drop-off commercial arm with the homemade custom rail. Well, for the first time in the history of the mini door, we do not have a residential opener up here. I installed this beast. This is a PowerMaster. It's upside down. There you go. It's a PowerMaster Model T. 1/2 horsepower, 120 volt. Pretty standard opener as far as commercial stuff goes. So this thing was not easy to install. Can guarantee you that I'm never going to be putting a commercial opener on the small door. These things are heavy. It was not easy to hold this up and try to bolt it onto the ceiling, and yeah, no thanks. And I don't want to try to lift it on top of a ladder to put it on the small door. This thing pretty much took me the entire day to get installed. Getting it on the ceiling, getting the chain on and stuff was actually the easy part. Setting the limits on this was really quite annoying because there's just so many wires and stuff in the way of the limit nuts that I was barely able to get at them. And I mean, I guess the other big thing was trying to figure out why. So the receiver that I'm using, the radio set that I'm using, is my code guard set, which I haven't used this for a while. Here's the remote, 93LM, and this is the terminal strip for the opener. I actually am making use of the power wire that runs up to the front, which, here's the receiver. It is the model 530LM. So originally I was going to use this multi-code receiver, just a 1090, and for some reason I couldn't get this to work. It didn't matter if I wired it up at the front here or if I wired it up directly to the opener. The thing would click, but it wouldn't actually run. But it would run when I shorted the terminals with the screwdriver. So I think this receiver might actually be bad, which, I mean, it's only like 3 years old, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But so I was going to use that, but it didn't work. And I figured I'll use the code guard set because, I mean, this is pretty cool. And I don't really ever use this set. Well, I mean, I don't really ever use these terminals very much anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think that's just funny seeing this huge commercial opener to lift this tiny little door. So I have over here a 3-button commercial station. I've got some 4-strand wire coming out here that's kind of just crappily ran. I know this looks like a mess. I was just trying to get it done. It took me pretty much the whole day to get this figured out. So I actually did wire up the button correctly this time. Which, by the way, this cover doesn't quite fit. I don't know why. But I did figure out how to wire up the 3-button station. When I first got this opener, actually, so this opener I got, one of the techs gave it to me at work, and when I got it, it had a cracked bushing. I'm trying to remember. I think it was this one that I had to replace. Replacing the bushing on this thing was not easy. I'm surprised I was able to get it apart in the first place, and I'm even more surprised I was able to put the thing back together after that. But that's why it was replaced. And when I first got this thing, I had no clue how to wire it up. I just kind of shorted stuff until the opener did something, which in hindsight probably wasn't a very good idea, but whatever. But I tried hook wiring up the button, couldn't get it to work. And when I would put this on the on this rail to test it out, I actually did some looking, and I was actually able to find a manual for this and figured out how to wire up the button. So I've got a little note in there for myself so that I don't forget how to wire up that button ever again. Now this opener, as you can see, it is in pretty rough shape. It's quite rusty, especially up here. I don't know what kind of, excuse me, I'm not sure where this was installed at, but yeah, this thing is rusty. Well, actually, when I run this thing, it rains little rust flakes onto the floor. But I'm probably just going to end up leaving the door open a lot of the time because this thing is fast and it's not very gentle with the door. It is cool, but it's just so fast. And I do have the clutch set to basically a minimum, so well, hopefully the door never hits anything at all, but if the door ever hits something, hopefully that'll slip and stop it from running. But I mean, you never know. Oops. I dropped a bolt. Oh, just a little screw. I don't know where that came from. Trying to think of what else there is to say on this. I don't know. But I just think that is really cool. So here's the motor. I guess I'll kind of show you how this works a little bit. This motor is, I mean, it's huge. It's a commercial motor. The capacitor is inside here. Then you've got your V-belt drive. It's the primary reduction. Belt looks a little rough. It's kind of starting to fall apart in a couple spots, but still works fine. Then you've got your secondary reduction, which is a chain. It's actually a pretty big chain. And then that's your output sprocket. One of the teeth on this is actually bent. I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, you can see it. It's that one on the top there. It's a little bent, but it goes around the sprocket perfectly fine. And then you've got your limit chain here, which this isn't on all the way. I had a hard time getting that sprocket off of there when I took this thing apart to change that bushing. And when I went to put it back on, it wouldn't go all the way. And last time I had this one out, I tried to get it back on, but this thing is stuck. I can't get it off, and I can't get it on any farther, so it's good enough. So I just had to flip that other one around, and it works perfectly fine. I'm not sure when this was made. Based off the looks of it, I'm guessing it's probably from the 80s, but I'm not sure. This is completely mechanical. There's no control board in this. There's contactors and some relays. There's a transformer, a bunch of wires, and then there's just a little terminal strip on this side. I think there's 14 or so terminals. I know you've got terminals for a single button station. You've got your 3-button station, and I'm trying to think. I believe there was an option to hook up like an edge or sensors. I think it might have just been an edge, but there was an option to hook up safety devices. This one obviously does not require safety devices. It's a little too old for that. And this little button on the side, by the way, this is a little breaker. So I guess if the motor overheats, that'll pop, or maybe if the motor gets overloaded, or maybe that pops out when the clutch slips. I'm not really sure, but yeah. And then I'm obviously, just using the rail or the trolley from the 70Z, but this is the same rail, same setup. Do have to have the chain bunched up on this one again. So, I mean, you can see how tight I've got it, and the chain's still pretty loose. It's almost dragging on the door there, but yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and run this one, and you'll see just how fast it is. And we're going to use the code guard. Yeah, so it takes like 3 seconds for this thing to actually run run up or down. So it's fast. But setting the limits on this, this one does coast a little more than the 70Z, so I did have to do some fine tuning on this one. But yeah, I just think that's so cool seeing that huge opener up here. So yeah, as much as it would probably be a good idea just to do the medium duty LiftMaster next before I put this rail away, I really don't want to know that I want to do another commercial opener up here, because This thing took me all day to install. It was, yeah, I think I might just do something a little easier or something smaller at least. I'm not sure. I know I do want to show the Stealth and the Phantom. I should have put those ones up when I had the Pro Max up, so I could have just done head swaps. But that's one I should have done. I do want to put up my jack shafts, the 3800 and the 8500W. I would like to do those, and I kind of want to put this Genie up. I'm going to be getting an inner trolley for it soon so that I can use it. So I do want to see how this one runs, see if it can remember its limits if it's on a little tiny door. Oh, what else? Maybe one of my 8587s, if I can get them to run without tripping the force or having limit problems, because both of those 8587s have their own share of issues. One of them randomly trips the force, and it's really loud for some reason, and this one in the front here trips the force. It's not as bad as the other one, but this one doesn't hook up to Wi-Fi either for some reason. Alright, we'll run this back up, and that's going to be it. There's a little bit of squeaking coming from it. I'm not sure what it's coming from. If I need to lube one of these bushings or what, but I'm not going to worry about it now. So, yeah, there you go. That is the PowerMaster commercial operator on the mini door. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later.